Okay, so here's what I think is going to be my solution here. I've already trimmed these bowls, these plastic bowls, to give me a hub, and it's working out really nice. I mean, the way this is coming out here, this has to be pressed a little bit more, but I think once I put this cover here, it'll retain this same way as it's retaining on the other sides. You can see here only that the color is blue and my go-kart is yellow. I mean, it's not a big deal, but there's my solution, with these rings that I've been talking about. And you just are not going to find a ring that's going to fit exactly the way they should fit in order to retain this modified 4-inch diameter wheel. And the reason, once again, I'm using these 4-inch wheels because of their cost. Very inexpensive. You can get them at Harbor Freight. And for just having a little bit of fun, they don't have that deep of a tread on the surface here, but it's good enough if you're trying to just have a little fun with the car, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm not building for racing. I'm not riding for professional use. I just want to have a little fun with it once in a while. When I get bitten by the need to ride it. But this is how it's looking. I mean, this kind of just pops out, and it's natural because of the width of the tire. But once that plate is in place, it's going to really put pressure on the sidewalls of this, and I'm hoping that it'll retain a lot better than without it as before. I mean, we're talking about, look at that difference there. This is adding about an inch, from, or at least maybe not so much an inch, but maybe 3/4 of an inch extra wall on the outside of this tire here, so it's probably going to retain it really well. I did this in plastic, as I mentioned in my previous video, which kind of cut out as I was explaining and trying to finalize it. And so this is going to be part 2 of that video. But as you can see, let me just pull this out so we can see what's happening here. You can see the how these rings are fitting here. If I can get this ring with one hand here, because I cut this a little bit tight. But anyway, you can see, I'm not gonna, okay, you can see how it's forming that hub right there, that natural hub, just using these bowls. These I think these are for doggies, for doggy food bowls. I got them at the dollar store. And so that's my ring. And just to show you how I cut this, let me go back to my drill press here. Okay, so this is my drill press. This is a bench type of drill press here. I added all these blocks here just to raise it because I couldn't get this table high enough. It only comes up so high. And I'm using these are just a cutter here. You can buy all kinds of cutter. I would use a small cutter, because if you use too big of a cutter, you're risking cutting your hand. Be careful if you're going to do this. What I did is I'm putting my finger, I'm holding this as I'm cutting from the bottom here, away from the cutter on the bottom. And my mind is always on, if something happens, I can always pull away. So that's my mind, how I train my mind when I cut these things, so I don't get hurt. I have gotten hurt, but not seriously. And it's because when I cut these, anytime I cut material, understanding how materials cut and understanding how to hold is very important. So you don't want to hold the top piece as you're cutting as well as the bottom piece, because that creates a lock on the blade. It's going to kick you, or it's going to rip the material. So what you want to do is you want to lightly hold the top, and once again my hand is on this side here. In case something happens, I move away this way, and I'll hold this as I'm feeding the material. I'm feeding it through here. It looks like my fingers, but you can see, I'm away here, and I'm acting this as my stop here, this board here. So my fingers at that stop, and I'm just feeding this right here. So in case something goes wrong, I can pull away, so I don't get dragged into the cutter. Very, very important to do that. And so as I'm cutting, you can see how this gets cut right there. And I'm going very slowly. I actually did a pre-cut just on the surface of the material. So, yeah, it can pull you, as you just saw there. I just go and score it gently, gently, gently. I don't try to cut it all in one pass, but I try to I try to just score it as I'm feeding it, and then my second cut I go a little bit deeper, deeper, and that's how I achieve this cut right here. This is polypropylene, but being from the dollar store, I believe that's the secret is that they sell plastic that's a little bit old and it's a little brittle. Even though these things are new, I mean they're manufactured by maybe they keep them in storage, or maybe it's plastic that has been sitting in the store for years. You know, so I did notice that one of the cuts was it started to crack, and as you can see here, you know, it just cracked, you know, from the pressure there. So I think it's a little brittle, but other than that, you know, it's pretty durable stuff. You know, I cannot break this if I wanted to, but it and so having this ring, having this a little bit thicker part here, so I think that's going to retain. Okay, I don't think this is going to crack, but this is using these plastic bowls here. Okay, so I just explained how to cut this. The same process can be done with these metallic bowls here. Of course, this right here, you have to be extra careful in cutting this, and maybe use a grinding tool, one of those cutters for metal, not the ones with teeth, because the teeth will certainly grab here and it'll pull you into the cut. So if you use a grinding tool, you know, you have to protect your lungs. You have to wear a mask when you do those things. So that's how I would cut this, and just put a little grinding tool there, like a Dremel tool type grinding tool, and just taking your time, you're going to eventually cut these metal plates. And I believe that's what I'm going to actually do that now that I have my model here, and now that I know how this is. I left that other part on my drill press. Okay, so what I have actually achieved here is basically I've made a plastic hub, or a flange, you know, without the center portion right here, you know, to adapt these wheels right there, and there you have it.